In order to defeat your enemy, the devil, we have to first understand where he came from and what his goals are. Let's debunk some myths real quick to start. He isn't some gremlin looking thing with a pitchfork, horns, and a pointy tail. His location isn't in hell. Yet. And believe it or not, and if you don't agree with me, we could still be friends. In the Garden of Eden, Lucifer wasn't a talking snake. Now, before the religious spirits start manifesting everywhere, hear me out. Ezekiel 28 gives us some really interesting facts. We know from the word that Lucifer was a beautiful angel. You were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was your covering, the sardius, topaz, diamond, what goes on and on. This dude was like blinged out, okay? You were the anointed cherub who covers. The original translation says, separated protector who oversees and protects. I established you. You were on the holy mountain of God, Eden. You walked back and forth in the midst of the fiery stones. You walked back and forth. We see from these verses when they're translated that Lucifer was put in charge of overseeing and protecting the Garden of Eden. He was in the garden walking around as the beautiful angel that he was. It never made sense to me that, like, if I was Eve and one day I'm strolling about in the garden and all of a sudden a random snake starts talking to me out of nowhere. I mean, what would you do? I'd be like, ah!
No, I hate snakes. Hey, die.
This is where, in the Bible, when it's translated back into the original language, we see a much different picture of Lucifer. Watch this. We read in Genesis 3:1. Now the serpent was more cunning than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. Okay, stop right there. If we read this in our own interpretation, she was talking to a snake. But the word serpent in this verse, in Hebrew, is translated into the word nahash. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Which has multiple definitions. The first is knowing a serpent by its hiss, which is basically the equivalent of like someone calling a man a pig or a dog. You're not saying he's an actual dog, you're saying that he's portraying the characteristics of a dog or pig or whatever. The other definition is ridiculous. Watch this. Nahash is translated into upright and shining creature. So in the original Hebrew, the verse would read something like this. Now the upright and shining creature who was acting like a snake was more cunning than any other living creature of the field which the Lord God has made. And yes, the word beast means living creature. It's not referring to an animal. Much different picture, huh? So why did Eve listen to Lucifer? Because she was 100% used to him being around and she trusted him. Ooh, I have so much more to unpack with all of this, so stay tuned for more. And I'd love to hear your personal opinions on this subject in the comments. So go ahead and let me know what you think. Talk soon. Peace.